I am really excited for February because my 2020 did not get off to the best start. If you follow me on Instagram, you knew I was battling a really bad cold, and that first week of January especially, I was just on the couch binge watching Netflix, watched the second season of You, which honestly not a poor way to spend time, but not the way I want to spend my time because I have to, because I'm sick. It's one thing to voluntarily binge, it's another to you have to binge watch shows because you can do no other thing. And honestly, getting sick happens, but getting sick at the beginning of the year when everyone's talking about these new habits they're adapting, the new goals that they have, and I had a lot of big plans, expectations for the beginning of 2020, and it just didn't go to plan. And at first I was feeling really blue about that, and I don't think that is a feeling that I've only experienced. I would imagine that there are other people too that can set expectations for the start of a new year and get disappointed when things just don't seem to be going that way. But I think it's important to step back during those moments and remember that there is not a right time to make positive change in your life. Now is as good of a time as any. I am taking February as an opportunity to remember that, reset, and show myself a little extra love this month, because as you're going to quickly see, this month's spreads are very heavily self-loved theme. I actually hope that you stay tuned to see the spread in which I bring back a challenge, a self-love challenge that I do every year in February that has been a really great activity for myself, and based on your feedback also is something that you guys have gotten value out of. So I welcome you to join me in that this month. February is also really exciting because it's my birthday month. On February 8th, I turn 23, which feels very much so like I'm in my 20s now. Excitement levels are high. I'm raising the roof. Aquarius season is here, February. It's gonna be a good time. So with all that being said, let's dive into the spreads. The first page that I'm putting together, as always, is my month at a glance spread, which I kept on the minimal side this month. It's just a one-pager, but I feel like the way it was structured, there's still plenty of room, or at least a comfortable amount of room, to write down the main events for each day. Even though I use a lot of black for this month at a glance, I feel like what really kind of gives it a little bit of visual appeal is the fact that I'm using different size pens to do the outside border, the vertical and horizontal lines, and then even to write in the numbers for each date. I also brought out my Tombow to add a little bit of pink to the top because that felt very February appropriate. In this month's spreads, I decided to do a lot of drop shadows, which is not something I usually do a lot of because they can be time consuming, especially when you're doing drop shadows that are completely filled in with color. Again, in this case, I was using black. However, I think especially for this page, it really brought it all together and gives it something a little extra special. Of course, I also had to add my birthday to the February 8th time slot. I'm so thankful this year that my birthday lands on a weekend because it truly means I'll be able to have a work-free me day, she said, hopefully. Speaking of my birthday, I couldn't let this plan with me go by without doing an Aquarius focus spread. I find horoscopes so fun to read, and I'm a huge fan of apps like CoStar and The Pattern. As you just saw, I cut out a circle from a black post-it note using a circle tracer, which will be linked below. It is truly one of my favorite stationery tools, and I'm actually going to include links to all of the products that you're seeing me use in today's video, but this one is just one that is super helpful because I am not good at drawing circles freehand. I'm also pasting in this piece of text I found from a website that describes Aquarius's secret weapon: their belief in the innate goodness of people. An Aquarian will never doubt you, even when you doubt yourself. Their ability to see the best in all people, even if people don't see those qualities in themselves. Aquarians lift people up, lightening the mood in the process, which sounds pretty great to me. Proud to have that description associated with my sign. Below all that, I have these 4 little boxes where I drew some common symbols of the Aquarius. So there's the water bearer symbol, the element of the Aquarius, which is air, the quality of the Aquarius, which is fixed, and the ruling planet, which is Saturn. From the same site that I got the text above, I also found 5 reasons to love being an Aquarius, which I'm going to link that site also in the description box below if you want to look up things for your own sign. And the 5 things that are great about being an Aquarius is that Aquariuses have a go with the flow attitude. They have an artistic mind, they're open-minded, they're determined in their nature, and their look. They make cool look effortless. Obviously, this spread doesn't have a ton of practical value, but it was fun to put together and something that you could easily adapt for your own horoscope zodiac when it comes into play during your time of the year. The next spread is really focused on self-care. At the top, you're seeing me draw out 3 little basic grid trackers for keeping track of some habits I typically like to document, like hydration, meditation, and reading sessions. Below that, I used black washi tape to make a header for my self-care to-do list. I'm so sad. I have now officially run out of black washi tape, so I definitely need to go stock up on some more because I don't know what my bullet journaling life looks like without black washi tape. I also cut out some blocks out of pink paper and grid paper to fill in the space on the bottom left corner and add some visual interest. I love this look of layering basic shapes on top of one another. To paste them in, I had used my favorite thing, my new favorite thing, which is glue tape. It's a game changer for any of you who like to paste things into your journal or planner. Some of the things on my self-care to-do list include going on a solo date, which for me involves going to Indigo, browsing through books, grabbing a latte, you know, that sort of thing, which actually might be a cool video, so let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I also listed organize an area of your home or digital space that you've been putting off because I got really inspired by decluttering my computer. As you guys saw in my last video, I've gotten rid of a ton of files and emails, and you know, getting rid of that stuff feels good. So I want to do that for another area of my home, or maybe even my phone, because my phone needs some digital decluttering as well. The finishing touch for this was to add circle stickers that I purchased from a brand called Paper Chase. They sell it at select Hudson's Bay locations. I know at least in downtown Toronto, both the one in Yorkville and at Eaton Center have Paper Chase sections in their store, and I always am like drooling whenever I'm there, but I love these stickers because I feel like they're so versatile. Up next is the return of my hashtag Love28 challenge, but since February has 29 days this year, it's the hashtag Love29 challenge. Essentially what it is a challenge to write down one thing every day throughout the month of February that you love about yourself. It can be external, internal, or both, but I love this challenge because especially towards the second half of the month, it really gets you to look deep and appreciate things about yourself that you may have never recognized before. I desperately wanted to incorporate an envelope into this month's plan with me, and this felt like the most fitting place because I feel like by the end of this exercise, you've essentially written a love letter to yourself, and letters belong in envelopes, so I like that little tie-in. I also included a Brené Brown quote I really like at the bottom just to inspire me, and that was essentially it for this spread. Lately, it feels like whenever I go on Pinterest or Instagram, I see some sort of version of a bullet journal playlist situation where you paste in some of your favorite tunes. And I'm a big music lover, so I just wanted a place to document some of my favorite tracks lately. So I decided to include 6 songs, and I printed out the album cover or the single cover for each of these songs and just displayed them, gave them a little feature in the journal so that one day when I look back at this journal and I forget all about all of these songs, I can be like, oh yeah, these were great, gonna listen to them again. Unfortunately, I can't play you a snippet of each of these songs, but I've really been loving The Story by Conan Gray, Golden by Harry Styles. Really, his whole album has just been mwah, so beautiful. Technicolor Beat, Honey Pie, Runaway Goliath has been one on repeat since December, Dear Happy, and so many more. I make playlists each month on my Spotify account, so if you want to go listen to what I'm listening to, you can definitely go check me out at Spotify. A link, you guessed it, will be in the description box below. So many links, oh my goodness. On the right page, you're seeing me post a list of 29 journal prompts I came up with. I really want to make an effort this month to do more journaling of my thoughts in my bullet journal rather than just using it as a planner. When thinking about prompts, I wanted to come up with things that would make me reflect on different aspects about myself to tie in with the self-love theme for February. When you're just starting out, I feel like journaling is a lot easier when you have some direction, so these prompts are going to be super helpful. And if you want to use these prompts yourself, I've written them all out in the description box so that it's easier for you to read them, because I know sometimes reading handwriting is not fun. The pink and grid rectangles made a return for my weekly spread, and my intention when I was pasting these in was to make it seem like these were almost behind. They were part of the background of my vertical layout, which I hope will become more clear as you see it put together. I did decide to make, I think, what is my first vertical spread of 2020, at least the first one that I've made on camera. I feel like whenever I deviate away from the vertical weekly spread, I always am craving it and want it back, because it's just the perfect layout to me for weeklies. There's space to write down main events at the top. There's a big chunk that allows you to do to-do lists, which I love to-do lists at the beginning of each day. It helps me stay organized. And there's even a section to write an idea for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So there's a mini meal planner incorporated into here as well. If I needed to incorporate habit trackers, it would be easy to add like a little row of cubes as well. So much that you can do. I love it. When I was looking up quotes online, I also found this one that I really liked. Go to bed with dreams and wake up with plans, which feels like a quote that's super appropriate to put in a planner. I'm flipping through these spreads and I gotta say, super happy with how these turned out. If you decided to join me in the challenge of writing something down every day in the month of February that you love about yourself, then be sure to tag me in any of your posts on social media, or if you recreate or are inspired by any of the spreads that you saw here today. I always love seeing like the tagged posts or tagged stories. It just makes my day. I'm also very curious, what was your favorite spread this month? What got you drooling? You can expect lots of self-love, self-care focused content throughout the month of February. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and like this video if you enjoyed it. I will see you all very soon with a new video, and until then, bye everyone. Reflector, no reflector, sad. Reflector, happy. I'm gonna shut off the camera, don't worry.